What's up, everybody? New year, same sponsors. We're talking about Elite Sports, the only apparel company that's got our merch squaring around. We're talking about ELETE sports.com. They got everything from squaring around. They also sponsor their own athletes. So if you're trying to get some custom merch for your family, you're looking for a good gift, shop EliteSports.com. Use code SQUARE at checkout to get a nice discount. Tell them the Square Boy sent you. What's up, man? Should you stop our collection too if you're trying to get like a squaring around hoodie, jacket, sweater, hat. We got all that. EliteSports.com. Use code SQUARE. Guys, it finally happened. Texas State and home field. Explosions. This has been 3 long years in the making. You know them. You love them. One of the best names in college football and athletic apparel out there. Home field. Use code SQUARE at checkout. Hey, we finally can benefit from this partnership. Make sure to show some love to home field. Tell them the Square Boy sent you. Use code SQUARE at checkout. You get 15% off your first order. And by the way, you get 10% off every other order after that. Use code SQUARE at checkout. Tell them the Square Boy sent you. Peace, love, thank you lots.
Tired of winning the tailgate but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squaring Around with Jacob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
We suck again. Don't you wish you ran at least a mile or more every day, huh?
I did 2 miles of incline training yesterday.
Did you really? Whoa.
Yeah. Did you not hear my story?
Mm-mm.
So I got a coworker.
How would I hear this? I haven't talked to you all week.
Love this guy's name's
You
Glenn.
didn't hear this thing that went on my side of the world?
So
No, I didn't hear that.
Glenn played in the celebrity basketball game and got embarrassed. And we said, we got to do something. So we decided to do a weight loss goal for November. Okay. 262 of raw steel. He came in, I think, at like 256 or 255, which I'm 4 inches taller than him. So it's like, ooh, good luck, buddy. I have said, all right, I got this. So we got on the treadmill. We got on the weightlifting, cardio via lifting weights. You know what I mean? So hyper, lot of reps. So I'm sore as hell. And I'm doing incline training. So it's like I do incline of 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and then 9, 7, 5, 3, 0. So
this is the most athletic podcast in Texas State for sure.
Oh, easy.
Without a doubt.
Easy.
By a mile.
No. So I am so sore. I hate the fact that I let my body get into this shape. I've become soft in my old age, but they say 30's right around the corner. You got to whip yourself into shape. So,
what they say, a rolling stone grows no moss.
That's true. And I got to say, I'm impressed by you, marathon training, everything else like that. Finally, last little thing. Cause
by the way, your dad last week scoffed at a really good effort run from me. It was like marathon pace for like sub 4. And he was like, whatever. This is what's going to separate the men from the boys. Screw you, Alan Zimmel. Screw you, sir.
He called me later and was like really impressed. So the text message didn't convey all the feelings. He's a boomer. He's an old guy. He doesn't know how to.
He didn't have his peepers on when he checked out the time.
I guess. But he did say he was impressed. So that's good. Lastly, last thing, because I know people want us to talk Texas State. They love this Texas State podcast. Got a friend of mine called me yesterday. What do you think he called me about? What do you think in the Andrew Zimmel realm of expertise would this individual call me about?
Texas State starting a gymnastics program? ?
Going bald.
Oh.
Guy calls me and goes like, Andrew, what should we do? I'm losing it. It's getting thin on top. I told him, listen, you can try to do the supplements, you can try to do the hair creams and everything else like that, but you're going to be just retaining. You're not going to grow anymore. It's just retaining what you got. So if you don't like what you got, just let it go. And I said, Taiwan is already announced that they have some sort of like
You're on
serum.
top of the global hair loss.
Yeah, yeah.
So
They got, yeah, oh yeah, 100%. They
do you
got
take
this.
do you take collagen?
No, like I said, if like let me tell you, if they have a cure to baldness, we're all gonna take it. So like, why would I do anything else?
Hmm.
So Hungary, obviously, and Turkey have the hair transplant market cornered. Taiwan has this cream now that in early testing on mice, and I don't know if they're testing on humans or not, but on
Of
mice,
mice and men.
it grew the hair back in like a 99% of the mice that they shaved and then, whatever. So,
Well,
and
can
it
I
went,
ask you this?
yeah.
What mice have you ever seen that's bald?
So they had alopecia mice.
Really?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got
Yeah.
Jada
So,
Pinkett Smith mice.
yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Keep my mice name out of your mouth.
Keep my mice name out your. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I can
I'm
say
just
that not because of her condition, but because she's actually a horrible person, everybody.
awful person.
I just want that on the record. She's horrible. I hate her.
Terrible person.
Aisha Curry,
Um,
you're next on that list, by the way.
So he's asking me, what should I do about going bald? I told him hats are a really cool thing. He lives in Tennessee. He can wear the cowboy hats. But yeah, no, I was like, this is what we're on. So I'm happy for him. I'm glad that I gave him better advice than our friend Will gave me. Will just shows me razor blades and says, shave it. Like, here's a razor blade, shave your head. So
He's the first adopter in our friend group to shave his head.
he was quick with it too, but it needed to happen.
Yeah, he was going fast.
Yeah.
But anyway, the dude on steroids recommended I start like collagen, and I was like, huh? And he was like, everybody should just be taking it. Like it's good for your like soft tissue and your joints and stuff like that, and
You say
also
that about creatine too.
healthy skin. And yeah, creatine is the most studied supplement on the planet. So as long as you drink a bunch of water with it as well, because it's not the best for your kidneys if you don't drink recommended water. By the way, my mom hates when we drink out of anything but like glass cups. Boom, this one's for you, mom. I just got a gallon sitting next to me.
All right, where do you want to start? You want to talk basketball or do you want to talk
Yeah,
football?
let's intro the pod. So last week we talked to Coach Johnson and Caden Gums. This week we're talking to Coach Z and also Maya Galbraith. You'll be wondering, Jacob, what the heck? It's MIA. No, Maya. All right, she's from Australia, mate. Get down under and listen to the podcast. Last week, by the way, my computer threw a tantrum. It deleted a work project that I've been working on for months. So if this ever like dies or something, we just use the same link and we'll come back to it. I know I was devastated too, Maya.
Oh,
I
no
was
way. I
totally.
know that feeling.
You
It's
do?
terrible.
And now I got
Yes.
to ask this guy to have another conversation with me that we had like a month ago again, and then do the whole thing. It's all about marathons though, so I could talk about that in my
They just
sleep.
had the New York Marathon too.
Oh yeah, I've been
Exactly.
seeing that everywhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll do it.
You got to qualify. There's
Oh,
qualifying marathons before you can actually qualify to run the New York or to run the Boston or run Chicago.
Yeah, it's all the
You got to make qualifying
USATF
time.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm running two this year. This will be my third and
I didn't know that. You're kidding.
yeah.
Which
I'm
marathons?
I'm running San Antonio on December 7th, and then
Okay.
I'm running my hometown marathon, McAllen, in January 17. But I have a
Oh,
coach.
wow.
Like I'm taking it super serious this year, Coach Z. Because last year I did the first or the last rock and roll in San Antonio. That was 4:39. And then I ran Austin just kind of for fun, and that was 4:14. And so this will be my first like sub four attempt. Like for
Yeah, and you know what? I have a feeling you're going to get it. So when I was younger, like you, and I left collegiate athletics, right, to start coaching, I started running like crazy.
really?
And I've run three minis and two fulls. And I was training for my second, was when I was at the University of Louisville coaching. And I tore my Achilles out there hooping
Oh my
with
goodness.
the players. Yeah.
Really?
Just stepping out sometimes coaches step in and play. I swore somebody kicked me and that was it. So I've not, doctor said can't really run like that anymore, but marathons are phenomenal. So my biggest marathon I ran was the Cincinnati Flying Pig.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a huge race.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so much fun. So I'm proud of you. Like running's hard.
oh,
It's
And
grueling, and you have to, yeah, there's a training regimen, like Jacob said, where you're
Yeah.
writing down how much you're doing, what you're eating, when you're drinking,
Yeah.
you're changing out your shoes through training. Like it's a whole thing.
it's an eating contest during a race too. Like you have
Yeah.
to get so many calories. There's a whole science behind it. This is such bad podcasting on my part. Welcome to Squaring Around, everybody. This is the show where we talk about everything Texas State athletics and sometimes my marathoning career. I'm here with Coach Z and Maya Galbraith. I said that right, Maya?
Yeah.
Right? Boom. Off to a roaring start with marathon racing in the background. This is the show that we talk about women's sports. We talk about every college sport at Texas State. Of course, one of our favorite coaches, some of our favorite players to catch up with is the women's basketball team, who played their first game on Monday against Ohio, the other Bobcats in the MAC.
Mhm.
This is the last year in the Sun Belt, though. So a lot of feelings, right, Coach Z? Or like good feelings,
Oh,
bad feelings?
feelings. I had feelings after that game,
Yeah.
Jacob, because if you look at the stat sheet, it was stressful. That's where I got my graduate degree as well. So I want to say, if I remember this correctly, I had a mile marker when we played at Ohio University, right, a few years back. And so I was really excited, right? Because in my head, my marker wasn't even thinking about the sun, but I was like, oh, I need a Bobcat sweep. So I didn't tell the players that. I don't even know if the players know that that's where I went to grad school. But a lot of what we talked about prepping for that game was really just one, doing our part in the Sun Belt, right? And at that time, we had a 3-1 record in the challenge. And then two, making sure that there's certain markers that we want to hit this early, that we did a good job with that. We fell short by two possessions. I think the biggest lesson learned, and Mike can tell you in that first game, was that we have to do a better job with our communication. It led to a lot of turnovers, and they had a chance to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I got a chance to watch and learn and grow.
Yeah.
Well,
Only grow, only up from here.
it never like it's never good to lose, right? The first one you have all these expectations and you lose. But like what's like the bounce back mentality, Maya? Like, like after you get that first one, not a good feeling, and you're like, okay, I mean, you guys are playing what Tech next?
Yeah.
Yes.
In Lubbock.
No.
And yeah, they're coming off a big win against North Carolina A&T. A&T, North Carolina A&T traditionally is a really good team. They see the postseason, and they put the hurt on them. So we've already broken into the film as a coaching staff. The student athletes will watch it tomorrow. But I know everybody's excited about having an opportunity to go play right a P4
Mhm.
and see where you match up, especially in the preseason. There's a lot more stress on them than there is on us. And so for us, it's about us getting better in some of those areas that we needed to, as well as continuously growing, right? And that's what I'm excited about since we have 9 newcomers. And Maya's a newcomer-ish
Mhm.
uh, to the program, but now in some ways she's considered a veteran as one of our 4 returners. And we're so excited to have her back on the floor with us.
What does it feel like just to be back, Maya?
It it's amazing. I mean, I've been hungry for the past 2 years, so it's just good to be back, be on the court. Just being on the court and like just that rush it feels so great. I feel like I was a little bit upset after the game, but it was more of I think it was both like yes, we lost, but like also like I'm back. Like it's just a good feeling. It's just a really good feeling to be back.
Last week we got to talk to Coach Johnson. His squad also had that first loss of the season, probably in a similar fashion or similar feelings that you guys are feeling right now too. But they kind of have like the opposite like vibe, because a lot of people have criticized them for the longest time about like the schedule that they're playing. You guys are like playing like some teams that are really good up front, and then like up to the conference schedule.
I think that's what makes it fun,
Mhm.
competition. And when we recruit young women, a lot of what we talk about is why do they love the game? And so for some of them, it really is they love competition, right? And that's what you want. That's why we all play sport, right? That's why you love to run. There's that euphoric feeling like you're competing against time, you're competing against yourself. It's the competition. And so actually, one of the coaches put in our coaches group chat, I'm not going to name the school, but they put a beat down on a team by like 60. And I'm like, where is the fun in that? Like, what do you learn? How do you get better? And you don't now.
Yeah.
Will you take criticism from fans, right, for a tougher schedule and not winning to start out? For sure. But if you take a look at the models in women's basketball of coaches that have done that at the mid-major level, right, not because they need payouts, but really they're trying to compete, it's truly helped them in different scenarios within conference play. In the Sun Belt, I keep saying the same thing over and over. Like, we're the cousin to the SEC, right? A lot of our players get poached. We had a player got poached this past year, and Jamia had a great game at Auburn, right? She's doing really well. There's a lot of teams within the Sun Belt that are like that. They've lost players that have gone on to the SEC. So it is high quality basketball. We have great athletes. So in preparation for that, you gotta be able to play some of these games that put you behind the eight ball, if you will, and you can learn and grow through that. And for us, the shift from last year to this year for me has been the student athletes we recruited are a little bit different in that we've got more junior college experience. And my hope is that'll help, right? To where we have Maya, who's a transfer. The majority of our team is transfers, but what's different is a lot of them aren't like Maya. They're not 4-4 transfers. We have some that were 2-4 transfers, 2-4 transfers, but they've been at the junior college level and had opportunity to play. And so my hope is that's going to really help us when we have these battles here in the preseason, so we're ready for conference.
Hmm. And how, like, because honestly, I'm kind of a fan of the beatdown because I'm a fan of like the newest FCS football team.
I'm not a fan of the beatdown.
UTRGV, Coach Z. They got those guys.
Listen, I love them because there's a kid we know there. My twins are 2027s and they play football. And there's a young man there on the offensive line that we follow now. He went to Johnson High School. His name is Zuma. And he's redshirting, but because of him, I watch him. And also, Chase is the AD.
Hmm.
Chase used to be at Little Rock and did a phenomenal job at Little Rock. And so, just from an athletic director standpoint, when you watch growth, he has just changed, right, the landscape down there and really embraced the community. He's got a great family. So, I'm not going to lie, low key, outside of when we play Lane and his team, I am a fan of UTRGV, and specifically this year, I'm a big fan of the football team because of that young man. And their coaches told me that he's doing great. So, no, I get it.
I do wish. I mean, those are some of my favorite or first really basketball like experiences watching UTPA played. I wish they were still the Bronx, but a new brand.
Colors are the same.
I get it. It's cool. But all those kids were telling me because I wrote 2 magazine stories about the football team, obviously. But they were like, we want to put the Valley on the map, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of that like sometimes feels like noise to me. But now they have. So it's kind of crazy. So it
Their
is like
socials are great. They got a
speaking to
brand
your
facility.
like,
Oh, yeah.
what you were
Yeah,
saying just about like competition and like that's really is what it all is about. It's kind of
mhm,
cool.
I agree.
So let's talk about like I guess just your expectations, I guess, after that loss for the rest of this year. Like what did you want the team to take from that? Is there an attitude that you think they have to flip, or is it just playing like in flow with each other?
The biggest takeaway for me is something that we've been working on all preseason, and that's just taking care of the basketball. And that is truly coming from our ability to be able to communicate better. And that's from having 9 newcomers. And so working through that, once we get to a place where we're able to communicate more smoothly, and then there's an expectation from each other, right? Both the coaches and the players and the players and players with each other, then we can work through so small things, so mishaps. So there's a lot of I'll tell you, we're always yelling at them, connect, connect, connect. You had a big turnover, something happened, you've got to communicate through that. So then, right, the hope is that you have less. And it's not even a hope, that's what's going to happen. Is once we're able to be in a great flow, we're going to be good. And one of our coaches on staff who's new said, wow, once they get it, we're going to be really good. And I said, I agree. It's just now helping them get to that place where they can
Where
be
we
consistent.
do get it. Where
Yeah.
everybody gets it. Everybody's on the same page.
No.
And Maya truly is one of our best communicators and making sure that she's talking. But right, basketball on our squad, there's 13 women. There's 5 that play out there. You're always going to have substitution. So we need more than just 2 or 3 women that are consistent with their communication. And right, body language is part of that too, right? How you respond to officials, how you respond to each other. There's just so many components right now that led to that many turnovers. Um, I wasn't surprised because it's something that we've really marked as something we have to work on. But I was disappointed because, I mean, Sanaya went off, had a career night.
Mm-hmm.
She had a career night. The
She
last player who
did.
did that was Denasia Hood, who's playing pro. I mean, we shot one quarter in the 70%. And we held him to 8 in the third quarter. Like, if you look at the stat book, you're saying to yourself, what happened? Like, what happened? And truly what happened is we just had a lot of miscues as far as our turnovers. If there
Well,
was a turnover we had it. We had player control foul. We had the travel. We had just the regular pass. We had the you name it, we had it. Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. I feel like I keep poking the bear with this. Maya, what was
Sorry,
this?
you're not gonna make it any worse. We're moving on to
I
tech.
know. I'm
Okay, Maya,
sorry.
we're
I'm
gonna be moving
sorry.
on to tech tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on to the next one. So Maya, what was the summer like as like people started coming in, you start gelling with the newer faces on the team?
Well, I actually wasn't really here for the summer. I was in Australia, so that's where I'm originally from. So I got the opportunity to go home, and everybody was already here working out and stuff. But I mean, I had like my teammates texting me, like even the ones that I didn't know. So I knew like as soon as I was gonna get back, like I was like, oh, I'm good. Like I already made friends. Literally like the first couple of days, we were all like all gelled, all gelled together. Like it was super easy. Everybody was super welcoming. They had already known that I was a returner, so yeah.
I was waiting for you to bring up the Australia thing because I was like, I don't even know how you segued it. I need your whole lore. Like, how did you go from there to playing basketball at Texas State?
Well, I didn't really play basketball in Australia, but I moved back, I moved here when I was 10, I think. So I've been here for a while now. I haven't really gone back home because basketball is all year round, basically. But I started playing when I first moved here, so what, fourth, fifth grade? Yeah, and then I just
Tell them what you did play.
what? Oh, I played AFL. Do you know what that is?
No, what is
It's like
that?
it's a Australian football league. So
Oh,
it's kind of
yeah.
like soccer, football, and I mean, I guess there's like sort of you have to bounce the ball like every couple steps.
Wow.
So I mean,
Okay.
it's kind of like a big mix, but and then I played cricket as well. You probably know what that is.
Yeah, I know that was, yeah.
Yeah.
I played
Yeah.
Quidditch at Texas State too,
Were you on the Quidditch team?
very briefly, Coach Z. Yeah, and then
I
two
said very
guys actually tore
briefly.
their ACL, and I was like, I'm not tearing my ACL. I'm not gonna call my
Yeah, I
dad and
heard
tell
we're
him I
really
tore my ACL
competitive.
while doing that. Yeah, oh,
Yeah, I
yeah,
heard
they're
really
crazy.
competitive.
So yeah, no,
Oh, wow.
that's my closest experience to like AFL anything. I feel like that's probably an insane sport. Um, so yeah, so you made the transition as like a really tiny child, I guess, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and it's been good. I do miss it. Like every time like I go back and visit, I'm like, oh yes, like I love it here. But then I go back here, I'm like, oh yes, I love it here. So it's kind of
Yeah, Maya's a woman of the world. Yeah, for sure. I think that's fun. I also think that's what makes her unique and really good at being able to bridge different cultures, whether it be just a Texas culture to some of the young women that have come from, Louisiana or Virginia, or whether it be something as big as, being an international woman, someone who's been through a transfer, and what that's like, or someone who's been through injury and overcoming that. I think Maya is a great person to go to a lot of times when one of our younger players or a newcomer has something that there's maybe not necessarily struggling with, but they need some motivation. Like, go talk to Maya and just ask her. She's really open. She'll be able to give you some thoughts on what worked for her, what might work for you. And so I really do appreciate that about Maya.
yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, you probably do have like the most stripes under you. You went through an injury, did a transfer. Like you've had to
yeah,
go through all
it,
these like mental progressions.
it's really weird because I mean I love talking to people. I love helping my teammates out and like I'm always gonna be there for them. And like whatever it is, even if like they are new and they don't know like the ins and outs of Texas State or wherever it may be, like Austin area or whatever. Like, but it's kind of weird because I was that person that was like asking all the questions, and now I'm getting asked all the questions, and I'm
Yeah,
kind of
1 year
like,
later.
oh, right.
Yeah.
Like literally a year difference. And I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're almost auntie status.
I know, I don't
That's
know.
how I feel now, though, because when I first started in news, I was like, oh my God, that guy's 27. He has an Emmy. He's in charge of his own show. Like, I want to be that guy. And now I just am that guy. But now, I don't know the TikTok dances. I don't know anything. I'm Unc. Like, it sucks. Like, so
I'm on.
appreciate it while you can. Yeah, I mean, I guess you are. You're almost Unc. You're Mrs. Unc. That's
No,
great.
that's so sad. I don't want to be.
We do have a player that has that status on our team,
Yeah,
and Deja Jones.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
She's definitely Yuck, for sure.
yeah. She calls them her kids.
Yeah.
So
Which is kind of crazy because like she's not even that much older than me. So
Well, I remember was it last year or was it the year before, Coach Z, where you were like, well, we're thankful we get at least a bye week or bye into the tournament when you go into Pensacola because you were thankful like just that the seniors on the team had a chance to rest their old bones. And I thought that was a funny soundbite.
that championship team was older. Yeah, you're right. And so that was really important for sure for that group. What's interesting with so many transfers, we're actually a really young team because like Maya transferred right after her freshman year. We have a JUCO transfer who got here after her freshman. We have quite a few young women who are just really only had 1 or 2 years of college. So that does make us young in some ways, although they're transfers, which is very different from the other championship team that we had. So that's why I felt like junior college experience is going to be really important because they've played games. Again, it's not D1. Um, it's different, but it does allow you to work through some kinks, if you will, versus sitting on the bench.
But just being
And
healthy too this year is such a huge, like 180 for you. I felt like just every week we were like, oh no, this player's out.
yeah, with that, and Takira hopefully will be back on the court here in the next couple of weeks. So we're excited about that.
That's
And
huge.
that's one
So
of the players.
excited.
Yeah.
So excited. We've been through recovery together. It's been a process. I gotta tell you that, but she's almost ready to be back, and I can't wait.
Well,
I'm
just
so excited.
making your own recovery journey, Maya, like just explain like what that is like, being on the other side of it and, like like how kind of easily it can flip.
Yeah. No, I don't think that a lot of people like kind of unless you've been through it, people don't really understand the how much it takes. Like you're in the training room before practice, after practice, next day, off day, weekends, like you are doing something every single day to get your body back right. And sometimes like you're not going to be able to do an exercise, especially if you're coming back from like a huge injury. Like I remember I had to jump this one day and I barely left the ground. And I was like, I literally broke down in tears. I was like, what is this? And I was like, okay, whatever. Like I literally just had a huge surgery. Like, let's just rethink this. Like I'm gonna be able to jump, but I just may not be able to jump super high right now. But it's just been a little bit of a process. But I mean, God helped me through that for sure.
I know you guys are huge on just like the mental like aspect, like supporting each other and but like even like going through like baby injuries like I've had like training for my marathon, like the mental spiral that you can go on is
Yeah.
insane. You're like, wow, I'm never gonna be able to do this again. And it's like, I twisted my ankle like on a sidewalk. Like it's nothing compared to like anything that you guys have gone through. But like like how fast that it can change.
Oh yeah.
And people don't get it.
They don't like it's like Maya said, you have to go through it to truly understand what somebody is going through. That's why I know she's so excited for Takira to come back. When TK comes back, they can celebrate that together. It's like you're right. It's like, even to the smallest injuries, even things as small as a splinter and it getting stuck, right? Sometimes mentally you're like, oh, this just really sucks if you use your hand. So you take it to something bigger where you had surgery,
You
right?
can't walk for 6 weeks and
Yeah.
you're on crutches,
And your
but
brain is way ahead of your body. And I think that's the hard part because you're young and you're youthful and you're athletic and you've been able to do it. So your brain's telling you, let's go. And your body's like, no, you're not ready yet. It's kind of puts you in unk status, to be honest with you. Because let me tell you, Jacob, there's times where I'm like, oh, let me just jump. Nope, not gonna do it. I'm gonna roll myself down on this bed right now. Because you can't do some of those things that
yeah.
your brain's telling you that you used to be able to do until you start training it again. And so you're training your mental piece more so, and that's just sports in general, right? You're training the mental over the physical a lot of times because when it starts to get really painful and you are able to function at a high level, that's when you know you're winning.
Yeah. I was talking to Colton actually a couple days ago, and he was like, I remember there was like a game where there was like 6 players that Coach Z really had last year, like in a rotation. Like that is all she had. So what was that like for you as well? That was crazy to
I'm
now.
I'm excited. I'm a big person in life when it comes to this. And shout out to Colton. What a massive game. I'm really proud of him, and I'm so excited too that he got engaged and got married. So we put that little plug in there as well to another student athlete, and I also have my own student athlete story. But long story short, I'd say this to my sons, and I say this to the team, and I say it to my coaching staff. You got to play whatever cards you're dealt, right? And so I'm from the old school. We didn't have social media. We didn't have phones. We played a lot of cards. Spades is a popular game. Full disclosure, everybody knows I married a football player, so there'd be times we'd be playing spades. And you can't help the hand that you're dealt, right? So you got to play it to the best of your ability. And that's what I look at adversity as like whatever is in front of me, I've got to make, lemonade out of lemons or since it's a podcast, I can say it. Chicken salad, chicken shit. So that's really what you have to do sometimes. And there's other times where you get to just sit back because things are falling in place. And I'm excited for Maya and some of her teammates to get to this place where you're just truly managing, right? And there's very little of the coaching and the scheme piece that goes into it. But right now, we're still heavy into the scheme piece. Last season was last season. I appreciate those women for being Bobcats and what they've done. I'm really excited about this year because this team is different than any transfer group of women I've had. They've completely dove into being Bobcats, just like Maya said. Like they came in, they were Bobcats. There's not a lot of talk about their old school and how things were done or excuses being made about, well, this is what they're used to. There's a lot more like, okay, that's what we do. All right, I'm in,
Yeah.
and I absolutely love that about this group. They are all in because Texas State's an amazing place. It is an amazing place, and we have so many great alumni that have gone on and done well, and I really am excited that they've just embraced it right away. I haven't had to sell Texas State to them. They were bought in from the time that they committed. So I'm really happy about that, and it makes Maya's life easier too, right? And the visions and the goals that she has.
Yeah. It's hard for me not to be like, oh my gosh, I love Texas State so much, especially when I talk to you because I get so jazzed like immediately. But like whatever like it is right now, like next year I can't even imagine once the Pac-12 move
Well,
happens. And Maya, you're, one of the players that could actually benefit from that too. So it's just like, how is it like managing like this season and like knowing that this is the last year in the Sun Belt, but then also knowing there's this other thing going on in the background next year as well?
oh, me?
Oh,
Oh,
well,
We both
well,
can
I
answer,
mean, I
yeah.
mean, I don't know. I think it's huge. Like, I think it's a huge shift, but we also have to stay focused on our main goal right now, which is to dominate in the Sun Belt Conference. And then we can move on to, all right, Pac-12, like, let's go to work. But I think right now we just have to kind of focus on what our goal right now is. Because if we get too ahead of ourselves, then it could all just crumble.
And I'd say for our athletes, right, there's pieces of it that's important. Um, as they prepare, but nothing's more important right now than winning in the Sun Belt. And that's the same approach that I take. The only thing I could tell you in my day to day that's different is recruiting, right? We have to get, when I use the word bigger, I don't necessarily mean like girthy, I mean just taller. Size is going to be really important. If you take a look at the schools that are already there and you take a look at the schools that are incoming, in women's basketball, it's no different than men. Of the 8 teams, 6 saw postseason play last year, 22 wins or more. So you look at those teams and you're like, okay, what separates them? And right now, it's just it's I say just size. Size isn't easy to come by. So size has to be an upgrade for us from a recruiting standpoint. Outside of that, scheme wise, we're different than all of them, and I like that, right? You're going to have to prepare. Um, we are a very different style, and I am excited about that. So again, you talked about preseason, right? In the preseason, it's going to be important that we set up games. So in that, from that perspective, as we plan games as well, I have to make sure that we plan games that'll help us, right, compete. And then our coaches are for sure, from a recruiting standpoint and preparation standpoint, we're watching those teams this year to get a feel for what that might look like. But the day to day for us outside of recruiting and game scheduling is all Sun Belt. It's all Sun Belt. I mean, I just talked to them today about there was a player for the Ohio Bobcats that, and no disrespect to this young kid, she's very similar to Peyton McDaniels, who's preseason player of the year. She might be in like her 10th season of basketball. I don't know over there at JMU, but we're talking about, right, Sunbelt basketball and what that's going to look like and who we have to match up with. So we're going to constantly show them stats from the Sunbelt Conference versus looking ahead.
Yeah, well, I guess I don't have to tell you that, right? Colorado State basketball alum, legend.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that
All
connect.
about legend. I was setting screens for Becky Hammond. Okay, let's
That's
remember
pretty
setting
sick.
screens and getting rebounds. Yeah, no, hey, I don't mind. Right, we got championships out of that. So I'll set a screen for Becky. I'll get a rebound for Becky. Whatever the team needed. So I appreciate my husband and my days at Colorado State. I call those the golden years. Joey Porter was playing, right, great stealer. We had Amy Van Dyken, who was an Olympic swimmer. It's phenomenal time at Colorado State. I love my alma mater, and I'm going to love nothing more than be able to have an opportunity to go up against him in the future. But I'm pretty focused right now, right, on our Bobcats and in the Sun Belt Conference, what that looks like. Because there's transformations within this year in each team. And in the Sun Belt Conference, right, if you take a look, the ULM coach left and went to Southern Miss. Well, she took almost her entire squad. And so the winning that they did there, now the hope is that they're going to transform that there at Southern Miss. So Southern Miss looks really different, where now Monroe looks really different as well. So
Is that just what
um,
Southern does now? You know, the Marshall coach for
I
football
know.
left to Southern, took basically his whole squad. Now the same thing happens on basketball.
I think you're finding that, and the biggest one is the coach that left JMU and went to Nebraska. I mean, not Nebraska, to Indiana.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, who would ever say Indiana is a football school? Not in my
Bloomington.
wildest dreams. Yeah.
Bloomington's blowing up.
Yeah, and they took him from JMU. He took, from what I understand, quite a few of the football players and took quite a few of the staff members. And, if that's a formula for some ADs, hats off to them being able to do that. Meanwhile, it doesn't make it any harder for me scheme wise because at least now it's not a brand new scheme coming in. There's a familiarity with that coach when they move within conference and you're used to what they do.
That stuff is so like 3D chess to me. Like I feel like I don't even understand like the moving pieces that it takes to do that. And then what if it messes up? Like what if it, that's
Yeah.
so like high risk, high
If it
risk.
messes up, you get fired. That's what happens.
Yeah, that's true.
In
And then
this
I guess
landscape with our athletic directors, that's what's going on.
the best job in America is fired head football coach. So I guess it could always be worse for those guys.
At least they're getting a
Honestly,
bag,
I'm hoping that
like
you guys get to raise a banner just because of how difficult the football season has been for GJ Kinney and those guys.
I am 100% behind Coach. I think he does a phenomenal job. Those losses, they hurt. They hurt. They hurt me in a different way. Being a football mom, a football wife, and an avid football fan, and a Texas State coach, it hurts because you know how hard they work in the prep. And in football, they don't have very many games. So every prep week, everything goes into it. We get the bounce back, right? And our game is that way too. In basketball, you might be able to trap, you might be able to press, you can foul a bad shooter. Like you have hope that you can turn around quick. But in football, maybe not necessarily so. You may not get the ball back, right?
Mhm.
In baseball and softball, it's worse. You don't get another chance to catch that pop up. You may not get another at bat.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about our sport. We play a lot of games, so there's a quick bounce back, right? Men's basketball plays tonight. Boom. Short memory. Let's learn what we need to, and we get to move on. That's the beauty of basketball,
And you can
right?
flip pretty easily, like, okay, this didn't work at all. We can never do that again. Or,
Yeah. No,
personnel
you're right.
match
Let's scrap
just
that.
did not match. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So that's one of the nicest things to me about enjoying the game of basketball is that, and I think that's also what makes it so tragic at the same time as well, because your highs are here and then somebody hits a last second shot and it just changes the entire gym, right? So, but
Mhm.
that's exciting to me.
I do want to talk about just how, like, I feel like this is the biggest year for Sun Belt basketball. Like, I remember being in college when we would get on those Zoom calls sometimes with all the coaches in the league, and sometimes all those calls would fail. Like, we would have like robot noise, it sound like transformers. And now, like, very professional setups for every school is mandated, or it's not mandated, but like it's a run like just like how football's is. And it's like a whole setup with the different sports information people. Like Sunbelt's taking basketball very seriously now.
And I definitely appreciate that about them having that vision and doing so between Kathy and with Keith, really understanding what that means. Keith, obviously, I think for a while has been in the men's basketball committee. So I think that's important. He's also a former student athlete. I think that helps too. And he's approachable to the student athletes if they want to talk to him or Kathy. I think that's important. And just having that finished, polished look, we all mid majors, we have to be able to compete, right? And competition doesn't just come from what you put out there on the field or the court. It also comes from, right, the aesthetic piece of it, what the socials look like, what we're doing for our student athletes and their experiences and championships, the whole 9 yards. So no, you're definitely right. If you're not up to date with technology, you're not up to date with socials, then you're really putting your program and your conference in a bad position, especially with conference realignment. I think that's important as well, right? What you're able to do for our athletes and to enhance the game, to make it fun, to draw more people to women's sports, that's a big piece of it.
And women's basketball is probably the hottest sport in the country right now. Is it not?
I would definitely say yes. Youth sport wise, I'll defer to soccer. But as far as you talk about just sport, yeah, for sure. And it's a sport that brings all socioeconomic backgrounds together, and it's a sport you can play by yourself. You can't do that in soccer. You can hoop by yourself, you can work on your game, you can simulate, playing against somebody, you can play indoors, you can play outdoors. And again, socioeconomically, it doesn't really matter where you're from. It's a game that you won't be shut out when you're younger just because you don't have money, right? You see that happening in other youth sports right now. You don't have money, it's, you can't play.
Yeah.
But in basketball, that's not the case. You still have a lot of coaches and you can have different teams and coaches, college coaches, we're going to go wherever the players are. And that's what I love about basketball. It's a very much a wholesome sport that way. And you always have to take your mind back to that when you get really upset about all these changes within collegiate athletics.
That's what I was telling Coach Johnson. If I was only, 6'8", the things I could do on the basketball
Yeah,
court.
right?
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
I'm
me
5'7", so I gotta settle.
Me too. Make me 6'8".
You'd be dangerous.
I don't know about 6'8", but I'll go 6'4", 6'3".
I thought this was gonna be a big 6'7" joke. I was like, oh well, wow.
No.
Maybe you're not Unk after all.
Oh, I'm not. I'm not.
Well, sick, man. Well, I honestly I think we need to get back to tailgating women's basketball, just like I was doing in college. So if
You know what? Love
hear the
that.
call now.
Say it again.
I said, hear the call now, everybody. If you're listening to this podcast, go tailgate women's
Yeah,
basketball.
go tailgate the women's basketball game.
And that'd be a lot of fun. And if you choose to, we have a few double headers. You can do both.
Boom. That's
Yeah.
actually
Make
you
a
spend
day
your
of
whole
it.
day out there. Yeah.
Yep, make a day of it. Yeah. And Don won't like this, if we can get a nice group of students, we get 100 students or more, I'll make sure Don's out there flipping some burgers for people.
Whoa.
He's
Okay.
in town. Yeah.
Yeah, his office is, right there.
Yeah, right. Don, all you gotta do is just step right outside your office.
Yeah, flip some.
I told you the story behind this shirt. I worked at
No.
the rec at Texas State, and this was definitely just a shirt that was left behind. And then it stayed in the
No,
lost and found for a few days. Boom, swiped
Snagged
it.
it.
Yeah.
But I think it's in good hands now. So
It's in great hands.
yeah, I need to rep women's basketball though. So if y'all hook me and Andrew up with gear, we'll
I
rep.
got you. I got you. As long as Andrew's not a big Brewers bandwagoner now
I
that
think
he's out
he is
there.
now. But he has a hat. The last time I saw him, we were in Houston for a wedding.
You know, my Astros heart can't take it.
Yeah,
But you know what? I'm gonna
I'm with
stop.
you.
I'm a bandwagon Dodgers fan, so I'm not even gonna lie. I can't even front. I was cheering like nobody else for Yoshi.
Wow.
So, and you would think that I'd left my Astros behind. So I'll still hook him up with the shirt for sure. But we're gonna make sure maybe we'll try to see what size. What size, Jacob? You let me know.
I'm a medium. Andrew,
Medium. All right. Well, we'll
Andrew,
see.
he's a youth small.
Medium.
Medium.
Yeah,
Medium, yeah.
we got you.
We are rooting for you guys. Can't wait to see the rest of this thing as it develops. And, the last year in the Sun Belt is really cool. I like seeing kind of a bookend close.
Yeah, I understand. And I'm going to do everything I can to make that fairy tale happen for these student athletes. To be honest with you, I think for the two young women that are seniors for us and their eligibility is complete, nothing's more important to me in making a special year for them. But for the players like Maya and Takira, who are just so hungry that they got cut short early, and the drive that Maya has, like, how can you not ride for athletes that are that determined, who really love the sport? She doesn't just say it, she shows up, she works her butt off. That's the fun part of coaching. And so I definitely, in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking about that, but in the front of my mind, I'm thinking about Texas Tech. Yeah.
Yeah. Maya, one last time. Why should people show up and show out for the women's basketball team?
They should show up and show out for the women's basketball team because we'll put on a performance with less turnover. Sorry. But we will. We honestly will. Like, we work so hard, and it's something that, like, we have to change in order to win games. Like, we have to change that, and that's something that I feel like every single person on our squad is committed to. Like, we want to win, and we put in that work, and I mean, it will pay off. We know it will.
Sick. I can't wait to see it. So thanks for squaring
Appreciate
it.
that, Jacob. Yep, we'll get you that half zip.
Oh, I want one too. Yes, please.
Yes, please. Go get.
So I'm excited for the women's basketball season. I've told you I have more stock in them than I do in the men. I want to give a shout out to Coach D and Coach Love, who both said that they really enjoyed talking to Jacob for this podcast. So that's cool. Love it when Jacob gets the props he deserves as an interviewer. I think he's a really good one. the women's basketball team rebounding from last year. They're kind of looking for the identity. They're doing what a lot of college basketball teams are doing, which is trying to find their identity in the NIL and the transfer portal era. I think they're getting closer than probably any other team on campus of figuring out what their identity is when it comes to, hey, are we going to be a transfer portal school? Are we going to be a, development school? Where are we going to go get our players? Are we going to go to junior colleges? I think they're closer in finding their identity than a lot of other teams, Jacob.
I think when you look at the turn that all the programs on campus are going to have to make next year for the Pac-12, I think Coach Z's in the best kind of headspace.
Which is crazy.
Second only maybe to GJ Kinney, obviously. I still think this guy is on track to become the highest paid head coach in the Pac-12 or Pac whatever you want to call it, conference, Pac-8, Pac-State, whatever. I think that Texas State would be foolish not to throw a bag at him now when he is quite affordable, given what has happened over the course of this season, and then just maybe make his contract very lucrative in terms of incentives. And also, maybe we can throw him a bone if he wins 4 to 5 games in a row. Because I feel like that's what this team has been struggling with. But shout out women's basketball, because I do think they're gelling really well. If you can tell in that interview, they're very close. They're very tight-knit. And it's just kind of speaks to who they're bringing into the program and who they want to be bringing in as well.
Yeah, I think that's good, too, that they have an eye to the future. So, and speaking of basketball, your guy Terrence Johnson, game number 1 out the fucking chute, has one of the worst games I've ever seen against Bowling Green. Truly.
What? Don't count your chickens yet, Zim Zim. They won by 30 points last night.
Yeah, against San Antonio A&M. Yeah. No, against Bowling Green, a team that people know where they are.
I literally Googled it. I tweeted this last week when they lost. I guess it was Monday, right? Yeah, Monday. We're recording on Thursday, everybody. Sorry. I literally Googled, is Bowling Green good at basketball? Google tells you no.
Yeah, no. 14 and 18 last year. I was trying to come up with my New York Post headline for Texas State, and I was like, disaster class, master ass, aster class. I was trying to think, how could I put bad basketball along with the way that they played. Now, again, it's game number 1. There's 40 more games left in the season. So you don't want to get over zealous when it comes to just crapping all over this team. But I kind of felt vindicated, especially in the second half, where I was like, oh, this team is exactly what I thought they were. Now, last night when they beat Texas A&M, they beat them by 30. And I should say San Antonio, Texas A&M. When they beat those guys.
Texas A&M, San Antonio, yeah.
The Jaguars. The
real A&M.
Yeah. I did not watch a single moment of that game live. I did go on the ESPN Plus app and watch the last 7 minutes on replay. Fine. I'm happy that you beat a Division III school. I desperately need this team to be average at worst in the Sun Belt. I cannot go another year of just turning games on and watching rock fights. I can't do it, Jacob.
This team, to hold my attention, needs to win at least 3 games in a row before I start fully buying in. I already have the most TJ Johnson stock. I bought it from everybody. I literally was seeing everybody offload, bought everybody. I'm the biggest shark in this tank now. I love Caden Gums. Shout out Caden Gums. Frank Emu was really surprising to me. The true freshman that had the most minutes pretty much last week. Kind of like a dip back into reality. Coach Johnson talked about it when they played Houston Tillotson in their first exhibition game, that almost never are they going to be able to play 12 guys like they did in that first exhibition game against Houston Tillotson. They kind of got close to that last night, Texas A&M San Antonio, obviously. There's a few games, if you just look at the schedule and not a basketball guy, but you can kind of guess around based on school pop, you can be yeah, they should beat the hell out of this team. And that's kind of what I fully expect them to do down the stretch. As we go into Sun Belt Conference play, those games are going to matter a lot more.
Like I said, I don't care anymore. The Sun Belt tournament has.
They play Tech also, tonight or tomorrow. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's Friday. I think it's Friday night. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Like I said, I am a doing the tournament guy now because the regular season has proven to be not a litmus test anymore for the Sun Belt. You got to win the tournament. So I feel so negative about this team. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they've underperformed for the last decade in my mind. But we'll see where they go from here.
Oh, dude, this is what I'm going to tell you. If football doesn't make a bowl game, right? Might as well cancel our tickets to Dallas now if we lose to the Cajuns this weekend. If that happens, do you want to go to Pensacola for the last Sun Belt Conference tournament, men's and women? Could be a fun little weekend for you and me.
If Texas State does not make it to
We're gonna have some. We're
the
gonna
bowl
have
game,
We're gonna have some chunk of change. You know
you're
what
gonna
I'm
have a chunk of change. I think we got to go to Pensacola.
saying? That's a punishment, actually.
That's a punishment. I don't want to go to Pensacola.
Why are we having to go to Pensacola for the damn football team? You know,
We'll be the only Texas State people there too. That's the
We're gonna be
funniest part.
the biggest podcast is gonna show up.
To Pensacola.
We're gonna be hanging out with Keith Gill. I'm drinking. I don't care what we end up doing.
Oh yeah, I know.
drinking.
We're gonna get tickets to go to Pensacola, not press passes.
This
tickets.
is gonna be Hunter Thompson and Ralph Waldo Emerson going to the Kentucky Derby. Remember that Rolling Stone article?
Yeah, this is gonna be Charlie and Pim go to Pensacola, Florida. We're just stuck in the airport.
It's gonna be awesome. The smiling friends go to Brazil.
Go to Pensacola, GJ Kenny, on all things that are holy. Do not lose this week. You have to beat the Cajuns. Please do not send me to Pensacola, Florida.
Now,
Please, Brad Jackson.
I've been talking to some guys at work about this upcoming game, Texas State versus Louisiana this weekend. They're playing at, what do they call it? The Cajun Dome? Whatever.
The Cajun Dome?
Is that what they call it?
Cajun Field, I'm pretty sure, right?
Cajun Field.
It's not a dome.
Doesn't matter. This season's lost. Do you guys care that we're accurate anymore? Who cares? We're done. The Sun Belt's over, okay?
The Jambalaya Bowl.
The Jambalaya Bowl. The Red Beans and Rice Bowl.
Speaking of, that's all I've been eating recently. I'm looking slim. Please
Really?
continue. Oh, yeah.
I don't even know where to begin with this. We've lost all 5 last meetings.
Yeah. Yes. They've owned us like a fucking rental car, brother. It's awful.
Do you think the Cajuns send us off to Valhalla this weekend?
Dude, yes. 1,000. I hope not, but golly. Feels like it's like, it feels like it's coming. Feels like it'd be like poetic justice, honestly, for them to put us in our graves. Like, the thing about this team, too, in Louisiana is that they were the master class or whatever. They were the best team in the Sun Belt for a while. Them, Troy, App State, all those teams when we came into the league, because they could not hold on to a coach. Billy Napier goes to Florida. A lot of the culture leaves with him. They've struggled over the last few seasons to kind of find that spot where they were again, like to get back to being as good as they were once. Well, they once were. But with Texas State, they have just been free falling. The JMU's second half was one of the worst second halves we've seen. A Tuesday night game in San Marcos, you cannot roll over and die like that. And the amount of people in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who watched that game on ESPN before this outage, who were telling me the next day, like, that was embarrassing. Like, we stayed up to watch your school and got embarrassed. The amount of people that I had to look in the eye and say, yeah, you should have seen us like 2 weeks ago against Marshall. It was embarrassing. It was tough. Louisiana has our number. They very much have our number. So if Texas State doesn't come out with a much better defensive game plan, it's curtains.
I didn't really get to talk about this because we were having some technical difficulties when we were recording the pod last week, but I was at the game as a fan with our boys, Will Thompson, John Tamaro, who went to JMU, and Danny, and we're having a great time drinking, just reminiscing basically on old times, DP shootouts with the boys. Couldn't be better. A lot of people were like, wow, can't believe everybody left her in the third. I can. Teams suck, dude. There's so many other things to do in San Marcos.
Now, San Marcos, people need to realize that Texas State is uniquely positioned in the Sun Belt Conference and just college football, that you have to look at them almost like a West Coast school, where like if UCLA isn't winning, USC isn't winning, there's so many other things to do in LA. And I'm not saying San Marcos is LA. What I am saying though is that there's so many bars and clubs and nightlife in Austin to go do that like yeah, if the team isn't good, I could either stay in the stadium on a Tuesday night or I could go home and start drinking and partying and doing all the other stuff that I do if I'm a college student.
Yeah,
So I
we literally went to the river and then went to Gumby's, and I was like, wow, this is
now hold on.
still a great night.
Gumby's is not a corporate sponsor of the Swearing Around podcast,
But they could be.
So you can own up to the I'm not wrong, I'm just early.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that pizza sucked, man. We had a stoner pie. We didn't have the Lincoln Perry 7-Eleven deal that he does with Bo Sparks. But we did have a stoner pie, and that pizza did not agree with my tum tum that night or the next morning. I talked to my constituents that also went to the game with me. They agreed. Maybe it's just us not being young men anymore. We can't drink all night and eat stupid pizza.
Wash your hands. Wash your hands if you're handling food. Gumby's. I'll say it. Every time I've ate there, I got sick. Every single time. So I'm not a Gumby's guy.
I'll talk about it at Sonia's wedding. Saw a groomsman. No washy-washy, handsy-handsy.
Oh wow.
It was nasty.
Not me though. Y'all stay safe.
Y'all stay safe. Yeah.
So Louisiana, Texas State this weekend. Texas State on the road. What do you feel? I think they're what, like 5.5-point dogs, 7-point dogs?
What's the ESPN thing? ESPN, Texas State, Louisiana. Let me see. Oh, I feel like better. Yeah, they're like 2.5-point favorites.
On the road. Dude, they
That's
are
what I
robbing.
thought too. That's exactly what I told the guys at work, that we're probably
They are
2.5-point favorites.
they're absolutely
For some reason, Vegas likes us still
they are robbing people blind.
because we've made a lot of people money in Vegas this year by
Yeah.
being wrong.
3-5 versus 3-6. Like I said, this is a team in Louisiana who's trying to find their footing, and Texas State, who should be, if we're being honest, a one-loss team. They should be being talked about like Memphis is, as like the team to win the group of 5 and get a college football playoff berth. Like that.
The way I'm looking at it, we have the better quarterback, the better running back, the better wide receiver room. Somehow a better defense? Question mark?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not a better defense. Absolutely not a better defense.
Yeah.
Worst defense in the Sun Belt.
This is terrible, dude.
If we win this game, it's going to be a shootout. So
yeah, Talik Lockett is opting out the rest of this year.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me.
No, we have that kind of issue, huh?
Here's my thing.
We are that school that just has a guy that sits out every year.
I can't be mad about that, like, because that's what you sign up for when you become transfer U. Like GJ Kenny knows it, the coaching staff knows it, the fans know it, but you just don't want to own up to it. Like that's what we are. And if we're a win or a lossless team, if we're looking at a perfect season or a one-loss season, you could win a conference championship or make a big bowl game. Nobody's going to opt out. People are going to be opting in. They want to play. But if you're 3-5, like, yeah, people are going to say, no, I'm going to take my ball and go home. I can't be mad at that. Ben Bell, I can be mad about because he opted out like 2 games into the season, which is crazy. But like a guy who plays 8 games and goes like, yeah, we're not winning anything. What? I'm supposed to be upset about that? Like, you knew that when you recruited him. You knew that when you brought him in. So I can't be upset.
I'll say this, I guess. I've opted out of the rest of the season too, so I can't even really be mad if a player does.
No, I'm gonna watch every game. I'm gonna watch every second of these games. But it's like, it is such like, what are we rooting for at this point? Because I'm rooting for Brad Jackson. I want to see him continue to look really good, and I'm rooting for GJ Kenny to absolutely like put hands on Dexter McCoyle. Like those are the 2 things that I'm rooting for. Like I'm going to see a fight on the sidelines, because if I'm scheming up these games and we're scoring 35, 40 points a game and we're losing, yeah, there's conversations happening in the coach's office. Like there just are. I'm over the moon upset.
Oh, this is perfect. I didn't even realize this on the schedule, but we play Louisiana at Lafayette this weekend. By the way, Louisiana Lafayette for the last time I can say that. And
Yeah.
and then we go to Hattiesburg the week after. That's perfect because I was gonna go to Worst Fest anyway with the boys. So I was already thinking like, oh man, I'm gonna have to miss like my second game now as a media member. No, I'll finish out the year strong. I'll get the last 2 ones at home.
Yeah, I love that for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So
Yeah.
I think we beat Louisiana somehow. That's my feel.
Let me ask you your final score prediction then.
Let me go 48-42.
Yeah. Last one with the ball wins.
Well, whatever happens in Louisiana, I guess it was supposed to happen anyway, right?
Yeah, I agree completely. Best team wins. If Texas State gets the win, they will be the better team. And we still have a chance to be bowl eligible. But if they lose this game, you can see us in Pensacola, Florida.
Honestly, yeah, I'll book the tickets right after. If we lose, we're gonna save a lot on Travago.
Thanks for squaring, everybody.
We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
Better not come any closer.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.